Welcome to Whirlwind Ladder Edition. Currently the score is 3-0 with Team 8 in the lead. Spawning up in the top right-hand position as the blue Protoss, Evil Genius's last hope, it is JYP.
His opponent spawning as the red Zerg on the right bottom position. His name is ALBM, playing for Kespa Team 8. He doesn't have any win in Pro League, but if he wins today, he'll get the first win and a 4-0 victory for his team.
So I'm sure this would be the perfect way for ALBM to win his first Pro League match. And at 4-0 against Evil Genius's Team Liquid, who traditionally they have not done well against. And after qualifying for Code A so recently, that would just be a humongous confidence booster for him. But we have JYP moving across the map here after making that pylon. So if ALBM tries to go for a hatchery first kind of build, things could be bad for him. JYP, he is not afraid to cannon rush you.
Yeah, well, this map is favors a little bit more hatchery first because the map is so huge that they don't expect the scouting probe to be inside your main base. But after seeing the probe, I guess he could go for the 14 pull now. Yeah,
it would make no sense for him to go for the 15 hatch unless he just really feels like confident against cannon rushing.
Yeah, well, JYP is sitting on 14 probes and seems like he's not getting Forge down, so his opponent is going for the pull first, but JYP can go for the Nexus first and then get the Forge up.
Indeed, so it looks like that pool first opening from the Zerg player. Of course, you know, after the probe is in the main base, no reason not to do that. And JYP will follow this up with a Nexus first, followed by that Forge, and it's going to be a bit annoying with that probe. And I remember talking to a few players about this map and this matchup. PvZ, it can be a bit hard to take your third base.
It's annoying. It's not impossible, but it's annoying. And it also depends on the direction you're scouting. Well, not just scouting, the direction that your opponent is in and how you take the expansions. Just like how you play your PvZ, your PvT, and Fighting Spirit and Brood War. You don't want to expand too close to your opponent. Now, the quiz of the day is there are so many players who's close to 100 wins right now, such as Argo, who's sitting on 98 wins, and Stats, who's sitting on 95 wins. Then, who was the first player in Pro League to achieve 100 victories?
Oh, wow. I don't even know that one, man. Pro League's been around for so long.
I know who got 100 wins in OSL, but I'm not sure for Pro League. I'm guessing few players, but not too sure if I am correct or not.
100 wins in OSL was Stork, correct?
No.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
It was against Stork. That's a quiz for you, man. Who got the first 100 wins?
That's a tough one. I'm not sure about that. It's like, I know Stork's been in the OSL like almost every single time.
In fact, he's the third person who got the 100 wins in OSL. The first person to get it against Stork, it was Boxer versus Stork, and Boxer got the 100 wins, and Stork was the person who lost in the 100 game.
All right, well, it looks like we have a pair of Lings moving in from ALBM into the main base of JYP here. This is going to be a little bit annoying for him to deal with. He may lose a probe. Even if he doesn't, you know, he still has to deny or delay his mining time here. And, losing really one probe there. Not the best thing for EGTL's JYP to deal with this early on in the game.
You know, if it was 4 Zerglings, then, you know, losing a probe here and there, that's almost inevitable. Against 2 Zerglings, if you micro perfectly, you could avoid losing a single probe until the Zella comes out. And that was a little miss micro by JYP at the end. He didn't pull back the Herb probe, instead he just left it there.
So this Zella is going to be able to eventually chase away these Zerglings. They're going to be annoying, but, you know, they shouldn't kill anything else by this point. They're just going to be able to hit a probe maybe once or twice here and there, but not get any type of kills.
Well, if they're low on HP...
Uh-oh, this one could potentially die here. It's one hit from dying, but that Zergling not able to get close enough. So, you know, behind this, JYP just getting a Warp Gate, a Stalker, while ALBM feeling pretty confident, just droning up a lot right now and securing his third expansion.
Yeah, he sees that there's no early tech up by his opponent. It's already 6 minutes in, and the Immortal Sentry all-in push, if JYP was going for it, the Robo would have been down by now, but ALBM didn't see any of it, so he knows that by the fastest it's going to be some type of Robo or some type of Stargate, but he knows that it's not going to hit anytime soon, so that's why he could drone up heavily earlier in the game and get above 60 drones.
Indeed, now we do have the Stargate tech on the way for JYP, and interestingly enough, near a potential 4th or 5th base For Album, there's a proxy pylon, so we'll have to see if that plays a role later on in the game here. JYP doing a little bit of annoying harassment of his own now with the Zealot and the Stalker. The Zealot was a little bit earlier on in the natural, and this
16 Zerglings on the way for Album.
And also at the same time, this one Zergling is still alive. It's 7 minutes into the game, and one of the Zerglings is still alive in JYP's main base, getting all the scouting he needs.
You know what? Those 16 Zerglings, that one Zergling, he didn't see that there was that many gateways inside the main base. He didn't see the second, third, and the fourth gateways inside the main base. So now he calculated, okay, JYP only has one gateway. He doesn't have a mothership core. So if I make a lot of Zerglings, like, he needs to wall off. He needs to be in a panic mode right now. That's
right. That mothership core is only just started right now. +1 attack on the way. That Zealot is going to get taken out easily there. And the Stalker needs to just get out of there. Yeah. There's no way that one Stalker can out-micro all of those Zerglings.
So this Zergling was a little more situational. Try to catch his opponent off guard. Didn't really work out, but nonetheless, pressured his opponent back to his main base completely.
Yeah, and now I feel like JYP is going to be kind of in just an uncomfortable position. His opponent was able to get a few free kills on his units, and essentially he's contained in his base in addition to having that one Zergling constantly scouting him out pretty much throughout the entire game until just recently.
Robo after Stargate, really popular choice after going for the Stargate because you need to get the Colossus out for the DPS against the Hydra. Some players try to go for the Templars, but the Colossus is the tech-up choice against the Hydras.
Indeed, of course, the Colossus great against those units. Ironically, that Zergling very close to that proxy pylon, but just barely missing it. We have a little bit of Phoenix harassment coming here from JYP. Not going to do too much damage at this point, but going to be a pesky annoyance at the very least.
So now we're just transitioning into the regular PvZ match that we will see on any other map. Those Zerglings not doing as much, but you know, it was a nice attempt by Album trying to catch his opponent off guard.
Indeed. All right. Well, it looks like we do have that Hydra tech on the way here from Album. He may follow that up with Mutas. That's been a very popular tech switch recently. We even saw that a little bit earlier in the matchup today between Hero and True.
And those Zerglings finally coming into play. He's going to have to cancel this Nexus for now. Those gateway units are not going to be there in time.
Yeah, he has to cancel that. Really unfortunate. That's so annoying as a Protoss player when you're trying to get that third up and it gets constantly denied by just, you know, maybe like 10 Zerglings, 12 Zerglings max. It's not even a huge investment from the Zerg player. And look at that. We have that Spire transition on the way from Album. So, you know, that seems to be something that's becoming more and more common in this matchup.
So now here's the trouble. Once JYP scouts to start the Spire, he needs to watch out and constantly focus on what his opponent is making. If he goes Corruptors, then he doesn't have to make any more Phoenix. But if he sees at least one Muta, that's when he starts. That's when he needs to start spamming those Phoenixes out because it's hard to deal against those Mutas, especially if you open up Stargate and then the Robo.
Indeed, now we have some Zealot harassment coming into the third base here. Will they be able to take down that Queen? One Queen does go down, but there's already a second one at that expansion there. It looks like Album's just playing this game very solid all around, not really making any mistakes and giving JYP no room or opportunities to do good amounts of damage.
Complete scout on the main base. It's not going to feel comfortable for our Protoss player JYP. Just allow the Overseer to see everything except the Twilight Council.
So Album is clearly in the know. Those Phoenixes almost getting sniped off by those Hydralisks there. JYP has to be very careful with those units. He definitely does not want to lose those. And now we have 9 Corruptors on the way, so we won't be seeing a Muta transition, at least for now. But we're going to see a very strong Hydra, Ling, Corruptor army composition, which can be very good against what JYP has here.
Yeah, and he saw the Twilight Council timing, so it's much better for him to go for the Corruptors. I mean, the Mutas could have done some damage, but it seems like he wants to stick to Corruptors for now and try to hit a timing before he could get the +2 out, before he could get the Templars out, or the Blink out.
Indeed. I'm starting to wonder maybe if Protoss players should try to get that Storm out a little bit faster against instead of the Colossi, because it's better against the Mutas, and Hydras are becoming so common in this matchup.
Oh yeah, the Storms, if you have great Storms, it just mills all the Hydras. And people are forgetting that Storms are really good against some of the Zerg units only because lots of these Zerg players went for massive Roach timing attacks back in Wings of Liberty.
Exactly. The Roach was essentially the bread and butter of Zerg in Wings of Liberty against Protoss. Nowadays, though, still being used a lot, but not necessarily as much as they were used back in Wings of Liberty due to the new Hydra speed off creep upgrade. And now we have a big attack coming in from Album here. here. Nice hallucination there, but it's not going to really do too much. Decent force fields go down, trapping a few of those units there, but the problem is the Colossus. It's going to go down. Nexus Cannon forced on that third base there, and this is just a lot of units from Album. I mean, the force fields
are actually working against JYP because it's trapping all the roaches and hydras on the other side, which means that the Zealots cannot do any damage against the ground army of Album.
Zealots? What Zealots, man? They just
melted.
They melted, man. They're completely gone here, and now the force fields are at least able to somewhat work in JYP's favor, but the problem is, you know, this is still a decent trade for Album here. He's just going to continue rushing in units. He's taking his 4th expansion behind this. And you know what? If he wants to, he can easily go towards the third base. Oh, humongous amounts of Lings get in there. They will be able to snap off more and more of these units. And the force field count is getting dangerously low for JYP. Force the reinforce a few more centuries, spending that precious gas.
What's also unfortunate is that the Zerglings Cannon, after all the Zealots got melted.
Yeah, exactly.
So they actually dealt more damage than they were supposed to do. Now, trapping few roaches. This is nice. Nice play by JYP, but he needs to be on this defensive until he can get more Immortals out. Now he has a lot of Immortals, so Album needs to be careful if he actually gets trapped inside here, and if the Immortals come back from the back, then he could actually lose all of his army, but no, he's just powering through with the Hydras and the Roaches that he has.
Those Hydras and Roaches doing so much damage right now. The Mortals are melting from the third base. We have those 3 reinforcements coming, and it looks like JYP will be able to barely hold this, but he may suffer another loss or two. Nope. It looks like he will defend this attack. And JYP also very smartly taking out the 4th base. This is a humongous win for JYP. He absolutely needed something like this in order to stay in this game. Now with 3 bases versus 3 bases, JYP will have much more time to get on an even foothold with his opponent as far as the army supplies go.
So Pylon finally coming into the play after 10 minutes into the game.
It took a while, but eventually it did end up working out very well for JYP. And
very well. It was amazing.
Look at that. The Hydra speed off creep was not researched yet. I think that may have been a little bit of a mistake by Album. And also, he's only getting the +1 carapace right now. So his upgrades they're decent. They're 2-0. But I feel like as the game goes on, he will start to suffer a little bit in that department.
You also have to look at the fact that Album right now is supply cap, but he has good amount of Corruptors. That's great against the Colossus, but his opponent doesn't have any Colossus. So now he has the Corruptors pretty much tied up to the supply cap, and his opponent does, you know, the Corruptors are going to pretty much do nothing except the corruption, and here is a massive recall.
Good, excellent force fields, trapping out so many of those roaches there. The Hydras are still in a really good position, though, to do a lot of DPS here. Another force field going down, trying to move those Hydras away from there. And look at this, JYP, he is able to hold this. He is just doing very good at defending against these powerful attacks. He will lose a good amount of units here, but now there's reinforcement Hydras moving in, and JYP, his army is starting to dwindle here, and things are starting to get very bad for him.
The problem is, even if the 4th base was taken down, he was sitting on 3-base economy for such a long time that even if he lost so many Roaches and Hydras, look at the supply right now, 190 to 88 of his opponent, and now the mutas are coming out. Look at this JYP, now he's confused. Where did all these units come from?
JYP, that's going to be it. GG. Leaving that game. Album taking his first victory in Pro League, and also winning over EGTL 4-0, closing out the series quite quickly.
You know what I always realize? When the player is so excited when they get their first win in Pro League, they always cannot open the door in their first try.
So that's something that's very consistent across the board for all players?
Pretty much, I have to say. All of those players, they just try to chuck the door and it never opens.
All right, so congratulations to Album for winning his first Pro League match. His confidence has got to be at an all-time high. I guarantee you this kid is just going to be so happy. Qualified for Code A, won his first Pro League match, ended the series 4-0 for his team. Unfortunately for Evil Genius's Team Liquid, this is looking a little bit more like the pre-round 4 EGTL that we got used to.
Oh yeah, it was a complete shutout for EGTL. Losing 4-0 must really hurt for them. Now, you also have to think about this. You're not going to always win your matches.
No, you're not.
Even if you get a better coach, even if you start winning against top teams, sometimes you are going to get shut out. Sometimes you're going to have close losses and close victories. So this is only one of many losses, and those two previous wins that they had, those are only 2 out of many victories that they will have in rounds 4, 5, and 6.
Even Flash loses from time to time.
Even twice in a day.
Well, that like almost never happens, but.
Well, yesterday, cough, cough.
Well, I know you're referring to that, but almost never. But anyway, the score is, of course,